Hey, welcome back to the podcast, Evil Dungeon Master Universe podcast. I am your host, Vince. Hopefully you're having a good Thursday because it's time for another podcast here on the Evil Dungeon Master Universe podcast. You can go to my website, theevildm.com, sign up for what I'm doing there, and get a newsletter sent to your email box, as well as other stuff that I do. It'll be sent to your box. Ask the DM at theevildm.com is my email address, so you can email me and suggest things. I've been chatting on and off with a bunch of people who suggested some things and waiting for a couple responses so I can get to those. So we'll do that. If you're interested in supporting me, you can go to buymeacoffee.com/evilDM and support me however much you want. Anyway, let me flip to the Dungeon Master's Guide today. On page 114, it falls under magical research, but it's not for a magic user. It's actually the process of creating holy or unholy water. So it starts on page 114 and goes to 115 and has some interesting little tidbits here and there other than the process itself. And I thought it was kind of interesting, so I wanted to go over it. So only clerics can do this. They can only prepare the holy water or unholy water if they're an evil cleric. It's a third level of the spell that's involved, requires a cleric of at least 5th level to do this of experience. A specially blessed, cursed basin, or basin, of fine workmanship and precious metal, copper, silver, electrum, gold, or platinum. And that's important to note because the different materials you have will give you more vials of holy water or unholy water, depending, which is kind of interesting because you would think that the bigger it is, the more it would allow you to create it. No, it's the actual precious metal that you're using. So, which is weird because it could be a little tiny one and it'll still give you a good amount. But anyway, must be fashioned for the cleric. The vessel must be engraved with the holy, unholy symbols of the cleric's deity or deities and must be within a special repository of finely crafted and carefully worked out rare wood with a base, pedestal, chest-like holder, and lid. The whole being known as the font. So essentially they're talking almost as if it was like a Catholic water font that is in when you first walk in and you're supposed to bless yourself with the holy water. Generally, that's what they have in most churches for Catholics. The basin is placed with the font, and the cleric then casts the following spells in succession while robed in formal vestments appropriate to his or her religious persuasion. This is very much based off of Catholic religion here. Create water. Well, the spell part isn't, but create water, purify food and drink the water, or its reverse, bless, or its reversed, chant one full turn, and prayer. The amount of water created depends on the metal of the receptacle. Remember, I was saying that before. And this is shown here after, along with the suggested cost for the various parts of the font. Once created, the holy, unholy water cannot leave the font for more than a turn without losing its efficiency, unless it is placed within a special, blessed, or cursed vial of crystal, either rock or special leaded glass. Each empty vial is worth 2 to 5 gold pieces, which is another thing that I never realized, that when you get holy water, it is in a special vial. It's not in a common everyday vial. So when you get your holy water in the vial, after you're done using it, unless you're going to be reusing it to fill it back up, it's worth about a couple gold pieces for you. So if you buy it from a cleric to use it for whatever adventure, you use it, you can sell the vial back or sell it to someone worth a couple gold. So at least you get some of your money back that way. It then goes on to talk about the receptacles, the copper, silver, electrum, gold, and platinum. Capacity for creation. Copper giving you the least amount of 6 vials, with platinum going up to 50 vials. And the maximum basin cost going from 130 gold pieces to get those 6 vials for copper, all the way up to 200,000 gold pieces to get the 50 vials from the platinum metal. The font cost itself will be anywhere ranging from 200 the copper to 2,000 gold pieces in the platinum. You may allow combination metal vessels with a capacity according to the composition found by the interpolation of the above capacity figures. Gary really likes talking. A copper basin chased with silver and set with silver rim and handles will only hold 8 vials, and the cost will be 50%. The copper plus 50% of the silver price. Fonts and bases must be designed and constructed on special order, the process taking 4 to 10 weeks, which is 2d4 plus 2. Capacities are designed for game purposes so as to limit the supplies of holy water, unholy water. They can be justified by the rationale that the deities find more precious metals more pleasing than those of less worth, so they are prone to grant more favor upon such offering vessels. So, if you have a little bin and it's made of platinum versus a little bin versus copper, the deity is going to be like, you can have 44 more vials of creation of my holy water. So sorry. Then I go into a couple more things that I thought were interesting. Limits of creation. So holy water or unholy water may be used once per week. May be made once per week. The ritual usually takes a full day of prayer and meditation, followed by the actual ritual, followed by the need for not less than 8 hours of rest and repose. Only one holy water, unholy water font per religious edifice is possible, as the deities look upon anything other as unworthy and excessive. That's interesting. You would think a deity and the D&D world, some of them are so vain that they would be like, oh, I love more fonts. There's more things to look at. It. Praise me. Now, if a non-believer defiles the font, if the non-believer blesses or curses an unholy holy font or uses a less refined means such as extruding waste into the font basin, so basically pooping in it or peeing in it, the whole is absolutely desecrated, defiled, and unfit, and must be smelted down and remade into a new fount. The cost, and it goes into the cost and how long it will take, basically if someone touches it and defiles it. So relics might either be defiled by touch or preventive defilement by encased within the font receptacle at your option. So you could, in a sense, make it so that these fonts that hold the holy water that the cleric uses is kind of like how religions will have holy artifacts, and they wear special gloves, and only a certain special person can touch it or use it, and anybody else using it is like blasphemy and defilement, and they have to do something about it. Much like in the Catholic Church, when they have certain things on the altar that you can't touch, and only a priest is allowed to touch, and the priest can only touch it while he's wearing special gloves. And I remember this from years ago. But yeah. And there's a note here that I did not know about. That's kind of interesting to wrap this whole thing up. Notes regarding drinking of holy water. Now, I've never actually considered drinking holy water as a source of a drink, but it does have a purpose for ingesting. So if you ingest or bathe with holy water, you will have the beneficial effect of slowing the onset of lycanthropy or of becoming undead. For each vial so used, the process is slowed by from 1 to 4 turns. This time delay is to be secretly determined and noted by the DM. So if you have a lycanthropy and you're slowly turning into this werewolf or whatever, you can delay it for it looks like 10 to 40 minutes at least, depending on what the DM rolls and decides to use. And I guess if you get bit by something and you're going to slowly turn into an undead or something like a white or whatever, you can delay it for a little while, so hopefully that someone can come to your rescue. So that was something I thought was kind of interesting to talk about today, was this whole creation of holy water. I know in my games, when we did holy water, no player character ever really sat and wanted to make holy water. And I'm trying to think, I think maybe I have done it so that they would just use the bless on the water as a quick way. I didn't know there were actual rules for creating holy water in the DMG. Again, a lot of times we've read these books and don't realize it when we go back over it like 20 years later, because we've just been playing the game and just using the book as a quick reference, that these little rules are here. And I thought it was interesting to just go over this so people were reminded about creating holy water and the whole process involved. So I don't see too many PCs doing this as because of the cost, but you never know once you get a high enough player character, maybe ninth, 10th level, when they consider the retirement levels, and you're playing a campaign and you want to retire the character, but still want to play in the campaign as another character. So you have your character as an NPC, and maybe the DM allows you to use him in a sense that he's part of the world and he has his own little church or temple, and you can dictate to the DM, well, he's going to do this and set this and up. And maybe you can use your current character to kind of fund him to do his things as if he's part of the church or the temple or whatever, part of the religion. You could do that. I would definitely not say no to that, because that's kind of a cool idea. And every once in a while get together with the DM and say, this is what he's doing in his spare time. Obviously it's nothing adventure wise, but it's just kind of what he's building, what he's doing, he's reaching out. And then maybe the DM can go and decide, well, maybe he got this many followers, or maybe this week he lost followers. It's kind of a behind the scenes thing that you could do as a DM with the player to have a little more flavor for your world, make it pop. I think it's a great idea, to be honest. Tell me what you think in the comments below. I'm interested to hear what you have to say about the whole NPC player usage in the DM world, and as well as creating holy water. Have you done just a quick thing like I think I've done, was just bless the water just because it's easier? Which I don't see why it wouldn't work, but obviously Gary put a whole process together here. So tell me what you think in the comments. I'm going to head out. Keep it original, keep it old school. Good night. God bless, and keep those AD&D fires lit.